Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Reese Vlogs, everyone. If it is your first time or your second or your third time and you haven't yet subscribed, like, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and do so, and just hit the like button because it's Reese Vlogs and you already know it's going to be good. So as you can tell by what's in this little container right here, I have some chicken foot and some beef cuts. Right, so for this pumpkin soup, as you can tell by the title, I will be doing pumpkin soup today. I'll have some chicken foot in there and some beef. So as you can tell, the chicken foot already went in, cut off the toenails, and you know, some little things are usually in this part. Already took them off, so the meat part is fine. It's a-okay and ready to go in the pot. So first, what I'm going to do is pressure the chicken foot. The chicken foot is usually the hardest part to cook. The beef is not so hard to cook. So what I'll do is pressure the chicken foot a little bit first, and then I'll put in the beef and pressure it just a little bit, and then I'll start the actual soup process. So I'll pressure the meat in a separate pot than what I'm using than I'll use to cook the soup itself, if you understand what I'm saying. So see you on that side. So while the chicken foot is pressuring, you want to pressure the pumpkin, which you can see here. I've already went ahead and washed and diced the pumpkin to pressure in the pot with the chicken foot, because if you don't know, the pumpkin is what gives the pumpkin soup the color. That's why it's pumpkin soup. So go ahead and put the pumpkin to pressure along with the chicken foot, because they want it to be extremely soft so it can dissolve in the soup to give it the color. So there you have it. The chicken foot and the pumpkin is in the pot. I'm about to put the cover on the pressure cooker and let it pressure for about 15 minutes or so, or until the chicken foot is extremely soft. Well, not too soft, because it's going to go into the soup again and cook some more. So you want to bring it to a point where it's soft but not too soft to cook out in the soup. Yeah, and I did go ahead also and add just a little bit of powder seasoning. That's why the water has this color. Okay, so you can hear the pressure cooker pressuring in the background with the chicken foot and the pumpkin, so don't mind that. I hope I'm speaking loud enough for you to hear me. But this is what will be going into the pumpkin soup. Now over here I have some yam, some breadfruit, scallion thyme, some okra, peppers and carrots. With the pepper, you already know, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know that I love pepper. And for me, or persons that eat pepper a lot, you know that each pepper comes with a different flavor, and I like a lot of pepper flavor in my soup, so I use like a green one. This is kind of green, kind of yellow. It will give that flavor, and then the yellow ones will give another flavor. And this one, I love this one. This gives a nice flavor as well, and it is very hot. So these are what will be going into the pot, along with the chicken foot and the beef, and also dumplings. So I'll show you how I'm going to make the dumplings next, so stay tuned. Alright, so over here I have the flour with a little bit of cornmeal. As I tell you, I don't really use a lot of salt, so I didn't put any salt in this, but if you want, you can add just a touch of salt in it. I didn't measure the flour, I didn't measure the cornmeal either. I just use a good amount that I think would be enough for the amount I'm cooking. So you can estimate and decide how much will be enough for your cooking, the amount of persons in your house. So right here now I have the flour and the cornmeal. I'm just going to mix it up. This is for the dumpling, if you didn't already know. As I tell you, I don't really use a lot of salt, but if you want, you can add a little touch of salt to your dumpling mixture. I didn't add any salt to this. So now I'm just mixing the cornmeal around in the flour so it's evenly distributed. And then I'm going to add some water to that. Not too much, because you don't want to drown out the flour too quickly. And for persons who have nails like I do, this is a good option to use. Just use your spoon and it will come together nicely. You don't have to get your nails dirty in it. Even though I keep my nails very clean, I prefer to use the spoon to mix around the flour to make the dumpling. And I'll show you just how it comes out. So as your mixture, as the flour is eating up the water, you want to add more and just continue to mix it around until everything comes together nicely. So once I'm done doing that, I'll show you how exactly it comes together and then how I'll make the dumplings. So after about 15 minutes, this is how we're looking. I did go ahead and add the beef to it, the beef cuts, and this is how they're looking. I literally just added the beef, but because the water is hot, this is the color it's giving now. And for this process, you want to make sure that your heat is at high, right? So I'm just crushing out some of them, but I'll crush out the pumpkin more later. But this is how we're looking right now. I'm going to put on back the cover and let it pressure some more, as I told you I would. So after about 15 minutes or so, this is how we're looking. I just added the beef right here, like literally just added the beef, but this is the color it's giving because the water is very hot. So I'm just going to put back the cover on the pot and let it pressure some more. So this is how the dough is looking now for the dumplings. So I'm just going to separate them. Right, if you feel them a bit sticky, you can either add some more flour to the dish that you're using, or if there's still flour in it, you saw what I just did. I just dip it in some flour and then I'm rolling it up. This is how I do it. Some persons might do it a little bit different, but this is how I do my little dumplings, okay? And man, I like big dumplings. Some people like the big construction site dumpling them. That is not me, right? I like my dumplings small, somewhat flat and cute, right? So this is how it's looking. It's nothing special, but if you're not from Jamaica, if you're not from the Caribbean and you don't know how dumplings are made, this is how it's made. You can slow down the video and look how exactly I did it. But let me just do another one. So you dip it in some flour, get it nice and floury. You just roll it up in a ball and then use your thumb and make a little dip in the middle. Bring it around and make the dip. Bring it around, bring it around town. You just make a little dip. This one is not that perfect, and then you can just flatten it a bit if you want it flat, and then you do the same thing again. Just bring it around. And that's how. So after a little bit more pressuring, this is how we're looking. I did go ahead and transfer the chicken foot, the beef, the pumpkin, and the water in the soup pot. You don't want to throw away that water. You want all that goodness in the actual soup. So I just transferred everything to the soup pot, and then I'm going to add a little bit more water, about 3 cups more in here, and then add the yam and all of that goodness in and let them cook and all of that, and then I'll come right back. So this is how we're looking now. I did go ahead, I added everything. Some persons, they just add the food, like the breadfruit and the yam and all of that first, and then they add the seasonings after. But I add everything at this step. I add the breadfruit, the yam, all of the food plus the seasoning. And yes, here in Jamaica, I don't know about the other Caribbean countries, but we call the ground provision food, right? So we're going to add all of that. Well, I added all of that, plus you can see right here I have some powder seasoning in the pot as well. That is some Maggi all-purpose seasoning, this right in there. And then so there's only two things now that I have to add: the dumplings and some some Maggi soup it up mix, but I'll add those a little bit later, right? You don't have to add them now, you can add those later. So I'll do that after about 10 minutes of cooking on medium heat. So this is how we're looking now, nice and flavorful. I did go ahead and add the dumplings and the soup mix after about 15 minutes of bubbling, right? So I'm just going to let this bubble, let it cook for another 10 minutes, and that should be good. It's going to thicken some more and everything will come together, as I say, in about 10 minutes. So this is the soup mix that I used, Grace Cock soup mix, and of course it have to be spicy. If you don't want the spicy, you can use, I think they come in the just original cock soup mix. You don't have to use Grace either, you can use another type, another brand, another company, but I love the Grace Cock soup mix. This is how you want your pumpkin soup to look when it's done. Nice rich pumpkin color, the texture not too runny, not too thick, just perfect, right? Watch Pepper she right the so. But if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.